into this. Yeah, Asher, how have you been enjoying things? Have you been having a little bit of a peek from the audience, from the sidelines?
I saw bits and pieces. I saw Innovation losing, and then I was sad. That's about
Mate,
the
mate,
about the size of it.
mate. Beyond versus Hero was wild. Beyond dumpstered, mate. It was crazy. It was actually really impressive.
I can't watch too much of Beyond playing in these weekly cups because it doesn't fit my narrative.
True. Shaky.
Speaking of, in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, the only Zerg in the tournament, and of course we find him nice and deep in that tournament, it is DPG Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Dark.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponent, the player currently leading this series 1-0, representing Onside Gaming. It is Maru. Maru. Oh my god. And I think this is a shock to everyone. Yaku and I, we were briefly mentioning it at the very start of the broadcast, but Maru is not known to join these weekly tournaments. It just is unheard of. So for him to be here for the very first KSL is really exciting, to be honest. Really exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a sign of things to come. The fact that, GSL's not looking too flash hot, and maybe Maru's recognized that as well, and he's looking to, diversify things out a little bit as well. I'm glad he's not going to Brood War. I'm glad he's sticking with StarCraft 2 and trying to find some ways to diversify that income, and it's just really awesome to see the community supporting these events to the point that a player like Maru sees it as viable to play in this.
100%. This is kind of reminding me of I know you weren't around for it, but of the era when Kespa pulled out of the Korean scene. Basically, when Kespa pulled out, an influx of ex-Kespa players were streaming and playing in tournaments. That kind of opened the door for TY, for Stats, for Hero. All these guys before that weren't allowed to stream because of the contracts with KT and SKT and all that stuff. So it just kind of opened up these players to new kind of revenue streams and new ways for them to be able to express themselves to the international scene. Likewise here, we're going to be seeing Maru on a more regular basis.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting, but we'll jump into the game that we have here. So Maru's actually gone for a no scout here, and he has been punished a little bit for that lack of scouting. Dark gone here for a pull first, not a super committed one, wasn't gas first or anything like that, but did make 6 lings and use those lings to actually dodge out the Reaper, and that means he's going to be able to get on top of this Marine. Oh, nice micro coming out from Maru. He did start up the second Marine as well, so he did make the proper precautions with this build just to be a little bit extra safe at home. He will lose a lot of mining time though, and a lot of CC build time. I feel like this has been probably more than worthwhile here for Dark. And the other thing here is Maru brought back his Reaper, so he doesn't actually know if it's going to be a Roach follow-up or not. He's taking the precautions as if it is a Roach follow-up, and it isn't. So this is going to be quite nice for Dark.
Yeah, definitely. So even though Dark didn't really get any SCV kills, we saw that 0 workers went down. Very nice control from Maru. Still, who's able to deal some inadvertent damage, and we can see that we have a third hatchery. In saying this, Maru should be aware that there shouldn't be really a Roach farm, but he's going to go into the main base just to confirm, just to maybe dip in and make sure that nothing else crazy is going on.
Yeah, looks like Maru's still going to be safe. He's going to go ahead and make that bunker. He did make a tech lab on the rack, so I think he was looking to swap that factory on and go for a fast cyclone. Now that he's scouted that it isn't roaches, he's instead going to get stim and actually throwing down 2 extra axes. Very interesting. So Maru, because his opening was so messed up here, is going to transition very quickly into a 2-base all-in.
This is really interesting. Yeah, and as you say that, we see that one Angie Bay being thrown down here for +1 attack, and this is going to be a scary moment for Dark, because even though the initial opener did seem pretty good for him, he is lacking a lot of scouting information. With this influx of Marines, it's going to be even harder to get an Overlord in to confirm.
Yeah, I mean, Dark, he is making a wave of lings now, so he should be able to poke the front, get some idea of what's going on at least, although these might just be lings to help protect from Hellions. Yeah, it looks like he is going to keep them home. So yeah, as you're saying, it's going to be a bit hard for him to work out what's going on here as Maru goes for what looks like a little bit of a 2-on-1 setup with some extra axes as well to transition into an all-in off the back of this.
Yeah, this is going to hit like a truck. We do see the Lynx checking the front door, just confirming the Marine count, the lack of Hellions as well. So Dark, he's piecing together things a little bit. We see Spores on the way, just in case it was a 1-1-1 kind of Banshee follow-up as well. So Dark just trying to cover all his bases.
Yeah, the spells make a lot of sense. Maru quite a few times has gone for a 2-on-1 setup, and instead of making the 2 medevacs straight away, gone for Cloak Banshees. So Dark just accounting for that possibility there, as we do see Maru trying to get a scout with the Reaper, but Dark's map presence very good so far.
Yeah, it looks like Dark is going to be able to shut that Reaper down and just maintain that map control. But again, all those spores are kind of wasted resources at the end of the day. We do see Dark taking some additional gases, finally working towards his Baneling nest. For the time being, he's only going to be defending with Lings and Queens. He shouldn't have Baneling speed by the time this push moves out, but this is finally being revealed here to Dark.
Yeah, I don't think Dark put this together properly, because he's gone up to 60 drones. He doesn't have the links that he needs. He's supply blocked right now, so he can't make them. This double drop has the potential to do a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, exactly. He's even taking his 3rd and 4th gas right now as we speak. And here we go. The Marines have revealed themselves. Not too many, though. The Queens and Lings are going to be able to fend this off for the time being. Yeah, Maru is... He doesn't have as much here as I thought he would have.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the full 2 medevacs, just wanted to get out on the map first, but he is clearing up creep. There's not really enough units here for Dark to push this back either, so he's going to be able to keep this creep penned back, and when he does move out with his push with the tanks, they're going to be able to set up right on top of this base.
Yeah, exactly. It's all set up for that follow-up timing here. Can Dark deal with at least these rocks before that happens? The Marines are going to do their best to try and slow this down. We do see another hatchery on the way. Finally, Link production has commenced. Dark so far is getting away with all this droning as long as he's able to get into his upgrades, survive long enough for Bathing Speed to finish.
Yeah, there are a lot of scans coming down. Maru committing extremely hard to making sure that he clears up this creep, and all the Banelings are only just starting now. Dark is in a lot of trouble. He has to slow this down. This siege position could get into a really awkward spot for him.
Yeah, exactly. The tanks are sieging up. The Banelings are about to finish up as well, but they are already isolated. They're being targeted down.
Yeah, they're being targeted by those tanks. Of course, Bane speed really far off. It feels like Maru, he really did catch Dark off guard here. Dark in a huge amount of trouble now, trying to pump up those Lings, trying to get Banelings desperately, but Maru is on top of the Banelings already, going to be taking out the Queens as well.
The Queens are going to be falling, and these Banelings on their own aren't going to be enough. They're just going to be targeted down here by Maru. He's doing it. He's pushing on through, and there is nothing to stop him. Lings coming from behind, but there are just so many Marines.
GG and Maru with a very crafty response to a bit of a dicey situation at the start of that game.
GG. Yeah, really crisp response as well. Maybe playing with his own reputation. You were talking about how commonly he does follow things up with Banshee, so, you know, Dark just not really aware of what was going on, just kind of wasting resources elsewhere and just misreading the situation entirely.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point as well, that Dark didn't really follow up Scout after he got that initial damage with his Lynx. He did have an Overlord nearby, and I think it probably would have been prevented from getting in by the Marines, but yeah, it just seems like he didn't really manage to piece together what was happening. He was on 60 drones when that first push came through with the double drop, and that feels like it's a little bit too high.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Not just the mass amount of drones, but the delayed tech as well. Just really greedy moves from Dark, and he does get punished for it. And now, this is the real reason, the real narrative that I knew would come to pass, and the real reason why I have Asher here. That is because we have a TvT finals, as we are used to.
It is the way now.
It is the reality that we live in, so my condolences to Dark. He made a good run. At least we had one Zerg player represent all the way up until the semifinals. But alas, Maru is a titan among men. No shame in falling to Maru at all, and he is expected to go all the way at least to the grand finals.
Yeah, I do actually kind of wonder if Dark was maybe respecting Maru a bit too much there and looking to kind of edge out a way to get ahead there. Yeah, I mean, it was a really good start for him, but very clever stuff coming out from Maru. And yeah, now we're going to have Maru vs Beyond, which is a banger of a TvT.
See, mate, Dark, he thought Maru wanted to play some StarCraft.
No. We don't play StarCraft anymore. We're done with that. Not on this map, Paul.
Smurge, Poppy Smurge. So yeah, as you were saying again, Dark, I'm sure he was assuming that there was a third CC behind it, that there wasn't going to be an all-in follow-up, all that good stuff. Does end up falling in the end, and as you were saying, TvTs are before us. Maru versus Beyond, best of 5 grand finals.
Sorry, my mic's falling down. Yeah, Maru vs Beyond's pretty sick match. We've had it a few times recently. The last one that I can remember is the GSL one where they just had an absolute just clown fiesta. They were 2-raxing each other outside their bases and proxies and inside their bases. I think there was a in-base 2-rax mirror, which I've never seen before. They were doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and Beyond actually got the better of it, which I remember him saying that that's something that doesn't normally happen, and he feels like he's reaching new levels in the matchup now. And then Maru swiftly afterwards said that he thinks Gumiho has the best TvT in Korea. It's just the most Korean thing ever. You lose to Beyond and you're like, man, Gumiho is so good at TvT.
But Gumiho is good though, to be fair.
Yes. It's just strange timing.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. So we'll see how this dynamic does go, you know, like Beyond has been on fire recently. Maru, we haven't seen as much from him since I am TvZ. You know, there have been murmurings that he hasn't been practicing as much. I think there was that phone call with TY from TY's stream where he was calling up Maru, and Maru was saying how like he was a little bit demotivated because of the GSL news and he wasn't practicing as much. But that was a couple of weeks ago now, and now we're here with the KSL. Now we've had all these announcements of support from the community, from Pig, from Wardy, from Chicken Man, from Dave Testa, from all these tournaments that are coming back here to try and support the Korean scene.